Okay, quick trade idea. I got one here I think is a really good one. Been following this for a long time. ACB is the ticker. We had this crazy move on earnings back here on February 5th. Crazy move on earnings. Continued higher for several days. Had the fade here. But what I really like about this, if you go back to the older videos where I was talking about this, is this monthly 3-year, monthly 2-year looks crazy. We have these really nice key levels on big volume, and these are really what I'm playing this trade off of. If you look at my X account, I talked about risking this 520 zone. So we have really this 588 zone and this 520 zone are my kind of my checkpoint zones. Ideally it holds the 588, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it fade a little more, especially with the SPY. What we had on Friday, we had pretty rough showing on Friday. But with everything that's going on, especially with the RFK news, with the whole, confirmation of his position, the only thing that's a little unsettling with this is if you look across the board on these names, on all these cannabis names, we have a ton of weakness across the board. CGC had earnings. It got crushed. We have Tilray had earnings. I can't remember if it was here or here, but Tilray is getting just crushed. Just all of these cannabis names. SNDL actually had news that it had worked some sort of deal in with ACB, which is kind of interesting, but even SNDL looks pretty ugly. It's probably the best looking secondary cannabis name besides ACB. So ACB looks really nice, but it's a little concerning how the rest of the basket is kind of shaping up. But putting that aside, this looks just so good. This is a full green light for me. Typically, I don't love getting involved when something's this overextended, but in this case, it's a lower volume type move, which sometimes leads to it not fading as much as you would like, and it sometimes just continues higher without giving you that dip. So ACB is a full green light special here. It is a risk off this 520 zone. I mean, we have some really nice levels to work off on the monthly 2-year. So it's a pretty straightforward setup. But this is a total beauty. The only thing I would like to see is more volume, but this doesn't really have a history of a ton of volume just in general. But this is one of those sectors where if things get crazy, this could go, this could easily go to $10, in a blink of an eye. We already saw with earnings, it shoots up from, 3s all the way to the almost 7 in, 5 days. So this has the potential to go up in a hurry. So that's kind of my one idea that I'm gonna give out today. Big potential here.